the US CDC, and the WHO. Through this project, we are going to achieve these 4 key outcomes: laboratory system strengthening, surveillance system strengthening, emergency preparedness and response strengthening, and workforce development strengthening. Let's look at the specific activities for each component. First, laboratory system strengthening. We are working to strengthen the sequencing capacity of the National Public Health and Reference Laboratory for priority pathogens. And we are working to disseminate and support implementation of national laboratory policies and guidelines, many of which you can see on this slide. And we also institutionalize a national external quality management system. And we are working on to establish equipment management and maintenance program. And also we would like to introduce novel technologies for infectious disease diagnosis, such as mpox diagnostic equipment, as you can see here. This device provides mpox diagnostic method, which takes less than 1 hour, providing clear information as well. Second, surveillance system strengthening. Our activities include strengthening surveillance for respiratory disease and acute febrile illness, and conducting training for integrated disease surveillance and reporting, and event-based surveillance, and revitalizing the Ghana Weekly Epidemiology Report, GWER, as you can see in the picture. And we provide the training to improve the national ICT infrastructure to integrate lab and surveillance system like SOMARS for the real-time reporting, as you can see in this picture. And we also strengthen antimicrobial resistance management in partnership with the WHO. We supported this guideline. Third, emergency preparedness and response strengthening section. Here, we are working on to establish 4 new regional public health emergency operation center, PHEOCs, and build their operational capacity. And we are working on to build the capacity of rapid response teams in 8 different regions and strengthen the coordination between the national and regional PHEOCs, as seen in this PHEOC training session. And fourth, workforce development strengthening. This is, of course, a key topic for today's webinar. Our activities include training 4 cohorts of frontline FATP and 4 cohorts of intermediate FATP through the University of Ghana. We also try to systemize the FATP mentorship program and establish national e-database for the public health workforce, and train district health directors in leadership and management. And we are also working with the USCDC to launch a local global laboratory leadership program and building capacity for port health officials. This is a port technical guidelines and operational manual for port of entry. So what is the intended impact of all these activities? By strengthening these 4 components, we aim to achieve rapid and accurate diagnosis of a priority infectious disease and early detection and reporting of outbreaks, and rapid and effective response during public health emergencies, and a sustainable trained workforce prepared to respond to these threats. Thank you very much for your attention. We, together with all the participants here in the SAFE webinar, are working to make Ghana and the world safe and secure from Ghana global health threats caused by infectious disease. We look forward to seeing you again in the upcoming webinar series. Thank you. Okay, this was the first presentation. And if you have any questions, we will have a Q&A session at the end of the session 1. So you can leave questions on the chat box, then I will run the Q&A session. Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you. So following presentation will be about the introduction of KDCA and JHS-CO by Dr. Jia Li, Division of Global Health Security, KDCA. Please welcome Jia Li.
Yeah, let me share our presentation slide and then I will start with my presentation. Can you see my slide?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jia Li. I'm the director for the Division of the Global Health Security in KDCA. I'm very pleased to have an opportunity to meet you all and then introduce the KDCA and then GISCO, which is the Global Health Security Coordination Office today. Next. So, and here are the contents of the day. I will talk about the overview of KDCA, followed by the introduction of a Global Health Security Coordination Office. So this is the history of the KDCA. Having SARS and H1N1, Central Institute of Health be reorganized and expanded to Korean Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, which is KCDC, in 2004. KCDC was elevated to the vice ministerial level after MERS outbreak in 2015. And another elevation was made to the Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency, which is KDCA, during COVID-19 pandemic. This is the organizational chart. KDCA consists of 8 departments and 41 divisions and 34 affiliated institutions. After COVID-19, KDCA, we are working on to expand our scope of work with including data science, non-communicable diseases, and climate change. We have 5 regional centers and 24 quarantine offices and branches. Also, we have a National Institute of Health, which is the NIH, which is responsible for research in infectious disease, vaccine, and chronic diseases. This is the KDCA's mission and vision. As a national agency of evidence-based public health management and biohealth research in Korea, we aim towards a safer and healthier future. And total budget for 2025 of KDCA is $874 billion, and then most of the budget are allocated for the infectious disease control and prevention. And actually, KDCA has an authority to human resources and budget and laws on infectious disease control and prevention as a control tower of the infectious disease control and prevention. So starting from the Infectious Disease Control and Prevention Act and the Quarantine Act in 1954, we have 8 laws under KDCA. And KDCA has actively collaborated with the global partners such as the national public health institutions and then various international organizations. After COVID-19, in line with the importance of international cooperation and solidarity, Global Health Security Coordination Office was launched within KDCA. So I will talk about the Global Health Security Coordination Office and our work on strengthening global health security. We all agree that we stand at the critical juncture, shifting our focus from merely responding to health emergencies to building robust, sustainable capacities that can prevent, detect, and respond to the future threats. So core capacities are based on the international health regulations, IHR, such as the surveillance systems, laboratory capabilities, well-trained public health workforce, and the ability to rapidly detect and respond to the novel outbreaks. To achieve this together, global collaboration and solidarity is very important. KDCA has been known for supporting international organizations such as WHO, WIPRO, and IBI. Since 2022, KDCA has expanded to bilateral ODA project with the technical support to the countries with the fragile health systems, ASEAN, Africa CDC, and then Allow PDR and Mongolia. And we contribute to strengthen capacity building of low middle income partners in the field of infectious disease control and prevention, taking advantage of KDCA expertise. So, based on the New Seoul Declaration from the GHSA ministerial meeting in 2022, GISCO, World Global Health Security Coordination Office, was launched in Osong under KDCA on December 2023, utilizing KDCA's infrastructure. And GISCO's goal is to strengthen the global health security through a network connecting domestic international partners in the global picture for building up sustainable capable capacities. And GISCO operates an educational training center, performs joint project with the WHO, publishes GISCO newsletter, supports GHSA activities, participates in international activities to build health security networks. Notably, I would like to talk about GISCO core personnel training program more in detail. This is the hands-on training for core public health personnel of ASEAN 10 members. The purpose of the program is strengthening infectious disease capacity through intense practical training with the KDCA experts. 4 areas of the courses are provided, which is the laboratory diagnosis and analysis, surveillance and risk assessment, biosafety, and epidemiology. These are the pictures of a training program with the 3 completion ceremonies in 2024 and 2025. Total 35 trainees from 9 countries from the ASEAN completed. So the last 3 sessions will focus on the laboratory diagnosis and vector surveillance, and we're working on to expand our program to AMR, epidemiology, etc. And let me briefly share KDCA ODA project. With the Lao PDR and Mongolia, as I've mentioned before, on the National Laboratory Capacity Building and Joint Simulation Exercise for Emerging Infectious Disease Response is the key component of the projects. And with the ASEAN Secretariat and Africa CDC, and surveillance and emergency preparedness and response are more the main component of the projects. And we collaborate with the WHJEE and GORN activities. KDCA staff have participated in the JEE missions as a subject matter expert and in GORN trainings and webinars to be part of the strengthening global health security. And lastly, our story is shared with the GISCO newsletter. This quarterly published newsletter is consisting of GISCO updates with the GISCO activities and global updates with the global news and partner stories. I'm happy to include you in our mailing list, or you could visit our GISCO website and then request for the subscription. And global health security is a shared responsibility that cannot be achieved by the single actor or sector of the government. Building a coordinated response system based on IHR and collaboration with the partners enable faster and more effective action during crisis. Ultimately, such cooperation serves as a foundation for protecting health and safety of people. I hope leveraging this Korea Ghana project, KDCH school will have more opportunity to collaborate with Ghana. Thank you. This is my presentation. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you very much, Jelly. Okay. I guess many people, participants, have questions about programs. So let's have a Q&A session at the end of the session 1. Okay. Now we'll move on to the final presenter in this session. Let us invite Dr. Moon-sun Choi, Senior Deputy Director of Division of Disease Control, Capacity Building, and KDCA. We will talk about introduction of FATP of Korea. Please welcome Dr. Moon-sun Choi.
Yeah, hello. I am Moon-sun Choi, Senior Deputy Director of Division of Disease Control Capacity Building of the KDCA. And I'm so happy to have this opportunity. I'm happy to have this opportunity to share with you Korea's policies and current practices regarding the EIO system, as well as its education and training programs. In Korea, the EIO system is based on legal provisions, and it incorporates a structured approach to education and training. Under the Infectious Disease Control and Prevention Act, Korea's public health system, including KDCA, provincial governments, and local governments, are required to appoint EIOs, and their duties and roles are clearly defined by law. To secure EIO's expertise, only public officials who have completed the FATP are appointed as EIOs. Those who are going to take the FATP courses have to be designated trainee EIOs. And the law also outlines specific eligibility criteria for becoming EIOs. First, public officers in charge of disease control, epidemiological investigation, or vaccination services. And second, medical personnel. And third, experts in fields related to infectious diseases and epidemiology. Now, let me explain the legally defined duties of EIOs. And these are the 6 key responsibilities of EIOs as defined by the law. First, formulating epidemiological investigation plans. Second, conducting investigation and analyzing the findings. Third, developing criteria and methods for conducting investigations. And fourth, providing technical guidance in the field. Fifth, delivering education and training related to epidemiological investigations. And sixth, conducting epidemiological research on infectious diseases. Carrying out this legally defined duty requires a high level of professional competency. And in the next part of the presentation, I'll introduce our training program. Now, let's take a look at how Korea's EIO system and FATP have evolved over time. In the 1990s, Korea experienced several nationwide outbreaks of infectious diseases. And these events highlighted the urgent need to train professionals who could respond quickly and accurately, and help prevent the further spread of epidemics. In response, a pilot research program was launched in 1998 to develop epidemiological expertise. The following year, in 1999, Korea began training public health doctors through a 2-week course and assigned them to provincial governments as part of a pilot project. Starting in 2000, about 20 public health doctors were selected each year and trained through Korea's FATP. And that same year, legal provisions were introduced requiring EIOs to be placed at both the NIH, the predecessor of KDCA, and the provincial level. In 2015, the MERS outbreak revealed the limitations of relying solely on public health doctors. And as a result, the National Disease Response System was restructured. The number of EIOs was expanded, and public officers were allowed to be appointed as EIOs alongside public health doctors. In 2017, Korea extended the FATP to a 2-year program and introduced a new policy requiring completion of the program in order to be formally appointed as EIOs. Then in 2012, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Korea significantly increased the number of EIOs, and since then, KDCA has continued to develop and offer a range of tailored training tracks. Next, I'd like to explain the various courses offered through Korea's FATP. Currently, the FATP consists of 3 levels: the advanced course, the intensive course, and the intermediate course. And these courses reflect the specific duties and responsibilities of EIOs at each level of the public health system. And first, the advanced course is a 2-year program. It is designed for trainee EIOs affiliated with KDCA, as well as EIOs who have completed the intensive course. And second, the intensive course is also a 2-year program. It is open to EIOs at the provincial level or to those who have completed the intermediate course. And lastly, the intermediate course is a 1-year program for EIOs working at the local level. And now I'd like to explain the training pathway for becoming EIOs through the FATP and the graduation requirements. To begin the FATP, individuals must first be appointed as trainee EIOs as stipulated by law. The FATP is offered as either a 1-year or 2-year program, during which participants receive on-the-job training. And throughout the program, trainee EIOs complete various assigned tasks and field activities. In order to graduate, they must pass a final evaluation conducted by the FATP Completion Review Committee. And all participants must complete the introductory education, which is a mandatory starting point for every course. And during the 1 or 2-year on-the-job training period, they are also required to take 2 or 4 additional education sessions depending on their course level. For those in the advanced and intensive courses, the following assignment must be submitted in order to graduate from the program. In addition, those in the advanced course must publish more than 1 paper and report the result as part of their graduation requirements. And participants in the intermediate course also must submit 1 surveillance report and 1 epidemiological investigation report. And only after graduating from the program, participants can be officially appointed as EIOs. And this document is the official oath for EIOs. After graduating from the FATP and being formally appointed as an EIO, each officer makes this pledge. And it's a solemn commitment to protect the lives and health of the public and to carry out epidemiological investigations based on scientific evidence with a strong sense of responsibility and purpose. Now, I'd like to introduce some of the key efforts on the way to strengthen the competencies of EIOs. We are currently providing a range of training programs and academic support to ensure that EIOs can fully apply their expertise in the field. And these efforts include a national mentorship program and scenario-based simulation trainings. In addition, we host an annual academic conference for EIOs as well as monthly seminars at KDCA. Also, we offer fellowship opportunities aimed at enhancing global capacity. And let me now explain each of these activities in more detail. The mentorship program pairs 1 EIO from KDCA with 2 trainee EIOs at the local or provincial level to form a team. And currently, we are operating 20 teams. In this program, KDCA EIOs actively engage with trainee EIOs, sharing their field experience and technical expertise. They provide guidance on tasks such as writing investigation reports, statistical analysis, skill development, and help trainees successfully graduate from the FATP. And to strengthen the practical skills of EIOs, we go beyond simply delivering knowledge and provide scenario-based training using a problem-based learning approach. Central EIOs at the KDCA are required to participate in simulation training twice per year, with each session focusing on different infectious disease scenarios. In addition, we offer specialized lab-based simulation to improve early detection and initial response to unknown infectious diseases. And starting this year, scenario-based training has been institutionalized for local EIUs as well. To support these activities, we provide standardized scenarios and allocate dedicated budgets. We also conduct joint simulation exercises with ministries responsible for group facilities such as schools, military units, and correctional institutions. These annual trainings are conducted in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of National Defense, and the Ministry of Justice. And this slide shows scenes from the scenario-based training conducted in 2024. And the main objective of the training was to strengthen on-site response capacity for controlling the spread of infectious disease. More specifically, the training aimed to enhance understanding of the roles and responsibilities of EIOs and improve the ability to collect and analyze information through field interviews and other methods, and support the development of response measures to block transmission and prevent future outbreaks. And during the 2024 training, EIOs and researchers and administrative staff from different fields got hands-on experience by carrying out mission tasks, analyzing information, and taking countermeasures in a real-life simulation. The training led to a noticeable boost in participant response skills, and it showed just how important it is to keep developing new scenarios and running regular training sessions in the future. And we hold an annual scientific conference where EIOs present their field investigation activities as well as the result of analytical and academic research. The conference also serves as a platform to share the latest updates and scientific knowledge related to infectious disease. Through this event, EIOs have the opportunity to connect with one another, exchange ideas, and share useful insights that support their daily work. And this slide highlights our effort to strengthen global capacity through international partnerships. First, in collaboration with the International Vaccine Institute, we develop a fellowship program in which 6 Korean EIOs participate every year. And this is a 4-month program that includes reviews and hands-on experiences at IVA project site, focusing on disease surveillance, epidemiological research, and vaccine effectiveness evaluation. And second, we also engage in the WHO Fellowship Program. And this program strengthens the capacity to respond to a wide range of public health emergencies through event-based surveillance and risk assessment. And finally, through KDCA's ODA initiative, we provide training support for epidemiologists in Mongolia. These training activities not only contribute to Mongolia's public health workforce, but also enhance the practical and cultural competencies of our own EIOs. And this slide shows the current deployment status of EIOs in Korea. And as of October 2025, a total of 538 EIOs are actively working nationwide. And among them, 112 EIOs are with the KDCA, and 86 are assigned to the provincial level, and 340 are working at the local level. And of these, 282 EIOs have graduated from the FATP and have been formally appointed, while the remaining 256 are currently in training. And when we look at the compliance with the legal staffing requirements, the rate of compliance is 93% at KDCA and 50% at the provincial level and 69% at the local level. And in terms of professional background, nurses take up the largest proportion with 298 individuals, accounting for about 55% of all EIOs. And in addition to nurses, the EIO workforce also includes public health professionals, medical doctors, and other experts from various healthcare-related fields. And this is the final slide. And our primary goal is to ensure that all trainee EIOs successfully graduate from the FATP and are formally appointed as certified CEIOs. In addition, I'd like to share the broader direction for the future of the EIO system. Currently, local level EIO placement is only mandatory in areas with population over 100,000. And going forward, we aim to establish a legal basis that will allow train the EIUs to be deployed in all regions, regardless of population size. And we also plan to broaden the scope of EIU activities. While EIUs have traditionally focused on infectious disease, we are working to expand their role to cover chronic diseases, injuries, and other public health emergencies. And lastly, through ongoing global collaboration and exchange, we are committed to contributing to the strengthening of EIUs and public health response capacities across countries. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for sharing FATP of Korea. Thank you. Now we are open to Q&A session. Please leave a chat or direct message so that I can operate the Q&A. So there is one question. So I heard that many other I think it's for the second presentation to Jia Li. And the question is, I heard that many other countries was invited for training in Korea. My question is that what are those countries that had the opportunity to benefit from the training and stuff? So did you have anyone from Liberia? Yeah. If not, what is your plan on that? Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much for your question. This is kind of question that I get every time I just present this presentation. Because like ASEAN, we firstly focus on the ASEAN area, which is a 10 country, because ASEAN is our top priority region that we have to kind of cover. So we're more focusing on the ASEAN right now, but we're kind of planning to expand to the Africa regions and other area of the globe. So we didn't have any library people from the librarian yet, but we're trying to expand to. And then actually, I got some kind of request from the Africa region, and then we working on it. So hopefully, we can meet you someday in the future. Yeah. Hope this answers your question.
Thank you. I hope I answered your question. Is there any other questions? I think there are many FPT trainees and they will have a lot of questions. I think it's the exit strategy. Is that right? Okay, there's another comment. Can we get more information on the collaboration with WHO on antimicrobial resistance and okay, research program? Yeah. So yeah, I think on the upcoming webinar series, I will give you details of what you have done in AMR activity in collaboration with WHO. But we usually supported developing a guideline and capacity building training. It was conducted in Tamale region. Yeah. So and all the activities is finished for now. So we don't have any additional plan that is planned for the next 2 years. But I will describe it in the upcoming webinar series. Thank you. And next comment is about is it exit strategy? Is that right? Yeah. Our project is still ongoing, so and we need to emphasize sustainability, and yeah, this is the point we have to think about. And yeah. I think for continuing certain activities, we need to have some support from our funders. So yeah, we will think about it in the later term for this project. And another one is that what kinds of projects or program are going on Ghana, which are supported or cooperated by KOICA or Korean organization? I'm not thoroughly familiar with that, but there's a CHIPS program, and Soyeon, I think Soyeon can tell you more about that. Soyeon, can you
Yes,
answer
I
the
can.
question about
I can answer very shortly. However, we have our KOICA colleagues here, so maybe for more information, our colleague KOICA Ghana office staff can give our details if needed. There is a CHIPS project in northern region, as far as I know, and then there is another new health project related to the Ramka project in three regions: Ashanti, Eastern, and Central region. Yeah, there. As far as I know, there is two more projects. Two more projects. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone from KOICA Ghana office try to add more onto it?
Yes.
Good morning. Thank you for answering. So this is correct. Right now, like KOICA Ghana office has like 3 ongoing health projects, including this GHSA project. So we have 2 other health projects focusing on the primary health care. So the CHIPS project in the northern area, including the Upper East and Northeast. And then we are just starting the new project called the NOP project, Networks of Practice, focusing on the Central, Eastern, and Ashanti region. Thank you.
So I think this Kyungha, can you turn off the camera and tell us one more time, because I think that because of the traffic, I think the voice is kind of lost in the middle.
Yeah,
So if
I
you turn
turned.
off the camera, if you turn off the camera.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Can you hear me now
Yeah.
then?
Yes. Good. Better. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so I will explain one more time. So thank you for the answering, Mrs. Zhang. You're correct. So right now, KOICA Ghana office have 3 ongoing health projects, including this GHSA project. So besides the GHSA project, the other 2 health project is more focusing on the primary health care and the maternal and newborn child health. So the one of those are focusing on the northern area, including Upper East and Northeast, and the other one just starting this year, focusing on Central, Eastern, and Ashanti regions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so Angela Ho asked about the key lessons from this partnership. That could be applied to future GHSA projects. Okay, so I'm not sure. I'm just in the middle of but I think the need assessment is kind of important for this kind of project, I think, because we try to support what is needed in Ghana, and yeah, and we also should think about the sustainability. And I think Sayan can add more to it.
Yes, from the GHS project, this is very meaningful that we have very fast collaborate and cooperation with U.S. government. Especially this project has been implemented from 2018 with U.S. CDC and then and University of Ghana and the WHO. And then in the future, in Ghana, there is also a pandemic fund is going on. So maybe for the future partnership, we can also collaborate with other development partners working in health security sector, and also from our project, we are doing a lot of activities with other development partners. However, the activities that we cannot cover is also complemented by other development partners or the pandemic fund in Ghana. Can yes, I hope this answer can is helpful. This my comment is answer to your question.
And I think this project was successful because Ghana people was very enthusiastic about and that's what I felt when I was monitoring the activities, and they were very they participated enthusiastically. So that I think that leads to that's a key component that led to the success of the phase one. And are there capacity building or training opportunities under KUKA that focus on waste management for environmental safety? It's not included in our project, but is Kyungho okay? Do you have any comment on that?
For me, I'm not quite sure about we have the waste management or environmental safety training course for this year or next year, but we would like to check. But if you see our Koika Ghana office Facebook, every year we launch the inviting the people from Ghana, but mostly the government officials to invite to the Korean master degrees and even the doctor degrees. So we do have this program called the CAT program. So if you keep looking our Facebook web pages, you can have the chances. But it depends. The courses every year it depends and it varies. So we need to look at it.
Yeah, thank you. I think someone can share the Facebook page link in the chat, and also this project also have some Facebook pages. So if you are interested, please we will welcome you to the page. Thank you. And I think we can move on to the session 2. So thank you very much to all session 1 presenters and all those participated in the Q&A session for sharing valuable insights. And we'll now proceed to session 2, which highlights the successful experience of Ghana's FPTP supported by the KOICA Ghana GHSA project. Session 2 will be moderated by Dr. Joseph Wimpong. Joseph, can you?
Yes, thank you very much. I think we've had a very fruitful presentation in session 1, and I'm happy to take over from session 2. So the session 2 of our webinar today, it is my pleasure to welcome our next presenter, who will be taking us through a remarkable story of institutional growth and impact, the successful strengthening of the Ghana Field Technology and Laboratory Training Program, made possible through the invaluable support of Quaker GHSA project. Our next presenter, he is a medical practitioner, professor of epidemiology at the Department of Epidemiology and Disease Control, School of Public Health, and the Department of Medicine and Therapeutics, University of Ghana Medical School, both within the College of Health Sciences in the University of Ghana. He serves as a regional trainer for measure evaluation and monitoring and evaluation for the African region, and has provided technical and programmatic expertise for Global Fund supported HIV, TB, and malaria programs in Nigeria and also in Sierra Leone. His influence extends through his leadership roles as the immediate past board chair of the African Field Technology Network, member of the Stop TB Partnership Ghana, and TEFNet Advisory Board, and currently serving as the director of both the Ghana FELTP and the AFNet Ghana. Please join me as we welcome Professor Ernest Kanu to share insights from this transformative collaboration. Thank you.
Dr. Joseph Asamafe. I think because of the bandwidth, permit me to turn off my camera so you cannot hear me. But later on, I can put it on and then we can have a further discussion. I'm again happy to say that we are thrilled by the presentation by the KDCA, Quaker, and all the other partners. This is just to showcase what we are also doing here in Ghana. I keep saying that what is in that soup is made up of a number of things. The beautiful thing is that I'll be telling you about the soup that we've been prepared for the past 19 years and the ingredients in that soup. So I'll give you a brief overview concerning the Ghana Field Epidemiology Laboratory Training Program, the support that we have received in terms of GHSA. I'll then focus on what we've been able to do under the University of Ghana with all the partners. Then we'll do a summary of the various years of training. Then I'll just end by talking about our specific work with Quaker over the period. Yes, so like I already said, in 2007, Ghana noticed that yes, we have been training epidemiologists, but we've not been focusing on using the One Health approach, and that is what led to the establishment of the Ghana Field Epidemiology and Laboratory Training Program. Yes, this program is housed in the university, but like I always keep saying, it's a program from the Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service, and partners, but it is domiciled in the university. As a growing institution, one of the things that we always remember to do is that for somebody to spend 2 years in training without any form of academic certificate makes it very difficult to attract the competent and the needed people. And for that reason, Ghana awards anyone who spends 2 years in this training an MPhil in applied epidemiology and disease control, and also receive a competency certificate in field epidemiology. So just to let you understand why we go through all this, the country then had a vision of making sure that we are able to improve the healthcare of the people in this country, and as well as a mission or to contribute to the addressing the public health needs of our country. How do we do this? Through training. And that is where you see that most of the capacity building is done at the University of Ghana School of Public Health, and also a service provision. And this is the service provision component where we do it together with AFNet and all the other partners. Why do we do the service provision? It's through the service provision that the skills and the capacities are built. Without service provision, you will not know how things are done. And that is why this training is a competency-based training. I am also happy to say that It is not just a training being handled or led by a few group of people, but always it has a steering committee that meets at least twice in a year. And the steering committee is made up of participants from WHO, CDC, West African Health Organization, Ghana Health Service, the VSD, and the list goes on, including KOICA, that the chair of the steering committee has actually invited and also has become part of, together with Africa CDC, to become part of the steering committee. And that provides technical and also direction when it comes to strategic issues to be done in ensuring that the program becomes a well-known and a standard program. We have received accreditation from the global body as well as locally. We have all the 3 tiers of the program: frontline, intermediate, and advanced. Just to showcase you, like when KDCA was presenting, KDCA have intermediate, advanced, and also the intensive training. But we have frontline, intermediate, and advanced. Frontline is for 3 months, intermediate is for 9 months, close to a year, and then the advanced is for 2 years. I've just provided a bit of what is supposed to be the class size. But I must admit that over the years, we have a lot of challenge in terms of a number of people applying for the course. Just for this year, we have over 150 people applying for the advanced course. But the class cannot go beyond 50. What we have managed to do as a university together with our various partners is to increase this. And this is the year that we're going to have the highest number so far, taking about 24, because we managed to be able to increase faculty as well as mentors that will be helping with the program. And at the end of the 68 weeks of training, in fact, in terms of the classroom work, and then also in total 2 years of being with us, you have a certificate which we call the MPhil in Applied Epidemiology and Disease Control. Why do we have this? It is purely because we want to make sure that we keep an eye on the ball. Diseases will not warn anybody, will not tell you that, yes, you are of this origin and for which reason I am coming. And for that reason, surveillance is the cornerstone of all that we do, which is the watchful eye that we train the students to have. That is what then leads to the system being able to identify outbreaks and eventually they apply their skills to it. In addition to all this, we also have planned studies which are carried out by the residents in the various places. Just to give you an overview of the tiers of training that we have had and who is where. Ghana, in terms of the advanced, we have admitted the 19th cohorts, but in terms of those who have completed, we have completed 17 by 18 cohorts will be graduating pretty soon. And of this, we have 209 of them, and you can see the range of countries that they are coming from, right from Benin up to Zambia. They are involved in training in Ghana. The other thing that I want to bring to attention has to do with the intermediates. Yes, we can credit the intermediate training, but this is just basically to give you an overview in terms of the graduation rate, in terms of those who have graduated. For the intermediates, interestingly, when KOICA did their assessment in terms of situational analysis with respect to our preparedness and response, there was a gap, and that gap had to do with the intermediate group. And this KOICA gladly took the opportunity and filled that gap. So most of those who have been trained in intermediate were fully supported with support from KOICA. And this is just basically to show you the distribution of those who have been trained in KOICA or those who have been supported with the intermediate program. With the frontline program, which we do, we have a total of 596 of them that have graduated. We hope that the coming few months, we'll be able to graduate the current cohort that in training. That's just to showcase the competencies that they acquire: public health competency, competency in outbreak response, competency in plan research, and also public speaking. So that is very crucial. If you are able to do the work, but you are not able to communicate the work that you have done, it means that you have failed everybody. It is only you who knows what you have done. The world will get to know when you're able to communicate. And for that reason, we believe strongly that everybody who is an epidemiologist should know how to talk and tell others about what they have done. Yes, this is just to tell you about, in terms of this competency in public health surveillance, Ghana Field Epidemiology and Laboratory Training Program have been able to undertake over 350 surveillance system evaluation. All this basically to help understand where are we when it comes to surveillance? Can our system identify the problem? And if we can identify the problem, how quickly are we responding to those problems? And I'm glad that, yes, we have also introduced the 717 approach just to be sure that are we able to detect them within the stipulated time? Even though that is not a gold standard, basically it's a yardstick to help us to say that this that we are doing, we are following the right track, and we are able to reduce the huge morbidity and mortality that comes with outbreaks that are detected very late. Yes, in terms of NCDs, a number of them have been detected, or in terms of, and then mental health. We are glad to say that there is one of the few programs that are doing something in mental health with the support of Africa CDC. And these are some of the diseases that they've been able to evaluate when it comes to surveillance data analysis as well as surveillance system evaluation. Just to tell you about the outbreaks that have been responded to. Again, I must admit that yes, it is not that they are able to respond to all of them, but outbreaks that they will be able to learn the critical skills that are required for them to be able to respond in the near future. They participate in them, and some of them they are able to stay on the field till the outbreak is over. Some they are not able to stay on the field, but how the know-how in terms of how to detect, how to respond, and how to be able to put in the control measures for those diseases. It comes to bacteria diseases, right from cholera, diarrhea diseases, pertussis, meningitis, foodborne. Then with the viral diseases, rabies, avian influenza, COVID-19, measles, rubella, mumps, monkeypox, Marburg, and Lassa fever. All these we've been able to support in responding to, including parasitic infections such as scabies and yaws and schistosomiasis. I know when we talk about scabies, people say, oh, is that disease still there? Yes, scabies is still around. And therefore, there's a need for us to develop the needed skills in doing that. Yes, I have just told you a little about it. This is the soup that I'm talking about. If I ask you what is the makeup of this soup, a lot of things are in there. There's a little salt, there's a little pepper, there's a little meat, and there are sorted form of things that are in there. But to get this soup properly done, everybody needs to come on board. And that is the goal that Ghana Field Epidemiology and Laboratory Training Program uses in the training. The current soup that we have prepared, we have ingredients from the Ghana Health Service, from the University of Ghana, from CDC, from Food and Drug Authority, as well as the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, World Health Organization, ECOWAS, Africa CDC, AFINET, the President Malaria Initiative, NPHI, EDTCP, the Korean government, KOICA, Palladium, Phalang, Global Fund, and all the others. I can't mention all of them. But that should tell you the soup that we have prepared. Now, how can we single-handedly pick one entity and say that, oh, it is only you that prepared this soup? But we're just trying to say that, yes, even though this soup has been well prepared, and we have all these partners on board, when it came to global health security with support to the University of Ghana, here, University of Ghana, I'm talking about the Noguchi, I'm talking about the School of Public Health, and as well as the Ghana Field Epidemiology and Laboratory Training Program. And so I will just focus on a few of the things that, through the support of KOICA, we've been able to do, where in terms of national laboratory system, workforce training, emergency management, and then the specific one when it comes to. Now, there are others were supported with global health security resources, but those ones will not have the watchful eye of the University of Ghana. And so I will only tell you about the things that we did within the University of Ghana, particularly the Ghana Field Epidemiology and Laboratory Training Program. This is just to let you know the portfolio of things that we've been able to do over the years. So with the support of the global health security as well as other partners, we've been able to support the formation of a multi-sectorial committee for laboratory coordination and ensuring that this committee meets regularly. Now, why did we do this? Because we noticed that lab becomes an integral part of all that we do. And without diagnosis, you may be working, but you may be working in the dark. We also supported the rollout of SOMAS and as well as the community-based surveillance with that support. We went on to carry out an assessment just to tell us to what extent has Ghana been able to implement the recommendations from the Joint External Evaluation. I am glad that Ghana has done a recent Joint External Evaluation, which I will touch on a little bit because all that we are doing is to help the country to be well prepared to be able to respond appropriately. Then again, we managed to ensure that there is always a training for and after action review for national and regional teams. The last bit that I want to mention had to do with the development of leadership and management modules. Look, all that we are trying to do in this life, if we don't have the appropriate leadership, we will not get anywhere. And that is why the saying that goes by, leadership is the rising and the fall of any institution. So if we want to really go far, we need to make sure that we build that needed capacity to ensure that we have the appropriate leaders who can help us do this job. And finally, we look out for how has COVID interrupted the service provision over the years. And that clearly demonstrated that it is only when you have a resilient system that COVID will not disrupt your system. But if the system is not resilient, then any disease like COVID or anything of that nature would disrupt your system, and soon all the gains that you have made, you cannot. I'm glad to say that yes, through the support, University of Ghana managed to establish EOCs in Western, Northern Ashanti, and Volta region. But specifically, the one for Volta region was established with the support from COICA. But this are all to tell you what the university has been able to do in terms of strengthening global health security and also preparing our country to ensure that we'll be able to stand any test that comes in the near future. So this is the soup that we have prepared. Now that we have prepared the soup, let me tell you specifically global health security support that we received from COICA and what we've been able to use that one for. So for COICA Phase 1, with respect to workforce, we've been able to train over 100 regional health workers in intermediates. So when it comes to those who are working intermediate work in this country, I'm glad to say that we'll give the credit to COICA for them coming on board to help us to be able to identify individuals in these various regions for them to be trained. Again, it helped us in identifying a workforce development tool. If you know where the people are, that is the only way you'll be able to identify them when there's a problem. And this beta version of the electronic database was developed, even though it had its own challenges, and this was with the support of COICA. With Phase 2, workforce specific, I'm just going to walk you through pictures, because a picture speaks than the words that I'm going to say here. And therefore, by you scrolling through these pictures, I'm very glad to tell you that we have been able to do a lot. We're supposed to train 3 cohorts of mentors in 2024 in terms of frontline, and 2 cohorts in terms of intermediate in 2024. I'm glad to say that we managed to achieve all that. And in 2025, we trained 1 cohort for mentorship, 1 cohort for frontline, and then also 2 cohorts. And all of them are in process. We will soon finish before December, and they will all be graduated. And in 2026, with again support from COICA, we're supposed to do 2 cohorts of frontline, and then also we'll do some training in leadership. We believe that we need to build a leadership capacity of our directors, particularly directors of public health, at the level of the districts, because with them in the helm of affairs, they will be able to direct the affairs and also ensure that the appropriate resources are located to the appropriate areas, and will be able to respond to the outbreak appropriately. The other thing that I want to bring to your attention in terms of those who have graduated and those who are in training, this is just to show you a picture of a number of the training, and I'm glad to say that one of the experts from PMC was at one of the training, just to encourage the team to keep doing the good work that they're doing. This is to walk you through the intermediate as well, who will be finishing. Those who have finished, 29 have already completed, and we have 33 who are currently in training, and hopefully they should be done and be graduating in December. This is just to give you the outcome of those trainings. Those trainings have led to we having at least a number of at least 2 epidemiologists per district. That is the ideal. Now, we're supposed to have between 2 to 5 epidemiologists, which means that if Ghana is supposed to get to a level of saturation, we should be looking at between 522 to around 1,305 epidemiologists across the country. Are we there? The answer is no. But are we comfortable with where we are? Yes, we are moving on gradually. And I think that as a country, if you're able to do this and be able to change all those colors to, even though I'm colorblind, I will call it yellow or I'll call it another different color. But if you're able to get that number, at least achieve more than 7 epidemiologists per a region, to a large extent, we will have the ability to detect it earlier than we expect. Have we been able to respond to some of outbreaks? The answer is yes. This is just to list a few of them. Yes, the team responded to a foodborne outbreak investigation in Burundi district and a number of areas. This is just to tell you that if people are trained adequately, they have what it takes to be able to respond to problems. So this is just to show you a few of the yellow fever outbreak that they responded to, and also foot and mouth disease outbreak that the team responded to in the Savannah region. What about the other thing that in 2025 that they've been able to do so far? They've done more than 6, but I'm just showcasing 6 of the outbreaks that they have been able to support in this year, 2025. They supported the investigation of the suspected foodborne disease in Ningo, and then also the suspected monkeypox disease in the Western region. They were in the Volta region to support the outbreak of the, which is still ongoing, but I'm glad that with the few interventions, including immunization, that have been brought on board, the country is seeing another 10 in terms of the response when it comes to monkeypox in this country. And the last one, just to mention, is the influenza-like illness outbreak investigation and response at Cape Coast, which is in the central region of this country. With respect to the mentors, yes, they've been able to train these mentors. And I just want to say that in Ghana, in advanced program, we use 1:1 mentor to mentee ratio, whereas in other countries, they use 1:2. In fact, we also do for country individuals who are coming from different countries, we do 1:2, where one mentee has 2 mentors, because you have a mentor in the host country where we are doing the training, and also in your country of origin. So that when you go back to your country and you're doing some work, the mentor will be able to have an oversight. Like the KDCA rightly said, one of the things that we do is that before you graduate, your competencies need to be assessed by an external person. It is only when the external person passes you, then you have what it takes to be able to receive your competency certificate. For the intermediates, we do 1 mentor to 4 mentees, and sometimes we go 1:5, all to make sure that they are able to get the needed skills, because that is what is required. It is not about you passing any exam, but being able to have the needed skills. This is just to give you an overview of the latest workforce database that we've been able to develop. Thank you for watching. So this is basically to give you an overview of the new database that we've been able to develop. We will be launching this in December, and we're rolling all the alumni of FETP onto this platform. Why do we create this platform? Just to help us to be able to do response to outbreaks promptly. And this will help us in our contribution to our JEE score. And currently, all that we are doing, this is the current score when it comes to the joint external evaluation done recently for Ghana. When it comes to multi-sectorial workforce, we scored 3. Now, if we train additional 4 cohorts of frontline, it adds to that. It will help the country to be able to move in that direction. And so if you watch, what we are doing is that we are strategic in the capacity that we are building. Each line or each person trained contributes to a specific score in a joint external evaluation. We know that there are places where they do a lot of training, but those trainings will knock out because it is not adding to the score when it comes to joint external evaluation. Then again, when it comes to mentorship, the mentorship would improve on our score when it comes to workforce training. And I'm glad to say that it was only Ghana or only the workforce that scored 4 in the last joint external evaluation that was conducted. And lastly, the e-database that we have established now will help us with workforce search during a public health event. I'm also glad to say that with the support of other partners, particularly CDC, the document that will be championing the workforce search or workforce search has been developed. It's at the level of the minister being reviewed, and soon we will be giving the nod to have it launched. Once it is launched, this score will change. And that's why I'm saying that we are quite strategic in ensuring that any work that we do, it contributes to the overall good of the country and ensuring that it will help us in detecting, in preventing, and also responding appropriately. Do we have anything that we can clap and say that KOICA we are grateful for? Yes. Now, for each of the training that we have conducted, it has contributed in helping the country to build capacity in rapid response. It is building the capacity of the rapid response teams at the various districts in the various regions. And by so doing, they were able to pick up issues early enough and respond. And for which reason, we were happy to say that a number of the intermediate and as well as the advanced received the presidential award. Likewise, I took an award from the Korean Prime Minister, and I'm very grateful for acknowledging the good work that we've been doing here. I think that receiving such awards tells us that our efforts are being acknowledged by others who probably they are not with us, but they are far away, but watching what we are doing. The capacity building in terms of the mentors is bringing on new skills. We are in a new generation where things need to be done differently. We cannot use the old skills to mentor new individuals, and that's why every now we identify new approaches. And lastly, say that yes, the FETP, especially with a new tool that we have developed. And we believe that with this, we'll be able to complete both the current phase and then 2026 activities that are standing. I am glad to say that most of our work and the residents are doing so well by ensuring that they publish the work that is being done. We are currently working with the KOICA Journal of International Development to make sure that some of the work that we have done, particularly the program papers, are published in those journals. We believe that with this, we'll be able to sustain the work that we are doing and ensure that our country and also the global community becomes a safer and a better place for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Kenu. This is very insightful and humbling because looking at this insightful presentation, it clearly reflects on not just the importance of partnership with all key stakeholders in the global health security space, but also highlights a shared vision, one that has translated into enhanced public health capacity, stronger surveillance system, and a more resilient workforce prepared to detect, respond, and to prevent health threats. Very much touched by the nexus, the GFELD nexus, because as an alumnus of the Ghana FELTP program, one of the challenges we face is linking up with your old friends who have changed jobs and everything. But I believe that this platform provides an opportunity for people to link up, highlight the great work that each of us is doing to encourage others and to also make others appreciate the benefits of being a part of such a flagship program. I also believe, as you mentioned, in alignment with the JEE, how this database can be expanded. Maybe that is an area that partners can look at. How do we then expand this, not just in the context of FELTP, but also to serve as a national database for our health workforce? That was one of the things that also came up in the JEE on how to really have a database that will track our health workforce. As a follow-up to the great work that your team did with developing a national workforce plan and now working on the SEDGE strategic plan. So these are very much insightful. The floor is open for questions. I see a number of questions in the chat room. I will just go ahead and read it out to you, Prof. Probably we can combine some of the questions. Okay, the first is just an acknowledgement that I'm a proud current resident of the Ghana Advanced FELTP program. And then the next question is, how can I become a candidate for the cohort? That is intermediate cohort. Is it currently open? I have a first degree in my biomedical science. So how can I be part of this? The next question is, great presentation, Professor Kenu. Please, is it possible to do the advance as a part-time instead of full-time so that other regions can take part in such an important training? And I'll read the next one. That will be the last question for this round of questions. And after responding, we'll probably come back to take the other questions. Professor Kenu, thank you for your dedication. You have been leading the Ghana FELTP program and have trained many fellows. Which trainee achievements, field case, were most memorable during your leadership of the Ghana FELTP? So, Prof, I'll pause here, then we'll take the next set of questions. Over to you, Professor King.
All right. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. So thank you very much for those questions. They are very, very important questions. The first question had to do with the candidature. The intermediate selection is done at the regional level. It is either the Food and Drug Administration, the Ghana Health Service, or the Veterinary Service, including the environmental, that would identify people in that specific region or district to be trained. What they basically will do is that to identify them, they will bring more than the needed number. We then take them through a screening phase. We then present to them the best in terms of order of attitude and also skill sets, those who can do the work. They then give us a feedback saying that train A, B, C for us because we have a quota. So currently there is no slot available. We can only get slots available when we try and finish this up and be able to make up a case for the gap that is still available. So my friend, sorry, we'll not be able to take any new now, but I'm hopeful that in the near future we're going to have an opportunity to train you. Yes, with the advance, how can someone become a part-time? I must admit that it will be difficult to do a part-time in advance unless we decide to do it 3 years or 4 years. What do I mean by that? Even those who are in school full-time, and none of them without additional support are not able to get all the skills that are needed. This is one of the things that I keep saying, that we should remember that if we don't have the needed people with the required skills, we will have all the degrees in this world, but our troubles will keep multiplying. What we need is people who can do it, and it requires dedication. So to do this as a part-time, I would say that I would not encourage it. What I would encourage is we should be able to have a dedicated time to do it so that you develop the skill set. I have already shared with my PhD students that I don't want this part-time PhD. Either you dedicate yourself to it and learn, else you become a PhD holder who doesn't know what he or she is about. So part-time, not for now. My memorable experience, there are many. In fact, anytime I see any individual writing notification, it's a joy to me. Now, notification is the beginning of any exercise being done. And I'm glad to say that a number of the notifications that we have received in this country comes from people who have been trained. They analyze their data, then immediately, something that has not even gone up to a level where everybody knows, we'll be able to tell you, we have detected that there's a surge in the cases, and from our basic analysis, it is an outbreak. It has gotten to the outbreak level. That is my joy. You see, it is not the doing, It is being able to detect it early enough. Then we don't need much resources. But if we wait and everybody in the world knows about it, that is not joy. So my joy is to be able to see everybody trained, being able to detect the problem very early and put it out there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Kenu. There are some few other questions here, which I'm just gonna read out. So this one is a comment from Ali Saidu Mumuni. He says, "Congratulations, Professor Kenu, for the excellent presentation. As a resident of the Burkina Faso Field Technology and Laboratory Training Program, I truly appreciate this enriching initiative and look forward to continued collaboration between our program and other countries in the sub-region to strengthen field epidemiology capacities." Yase Karim says that thank you very much. Very enlightening presentation, Prof. And then from Shelley Davis, thank you, Kwaika. Ghana is grateful. From Ms. Jones, thank you, Prof. Kenu. Your wonderful presentation and your dedication for Ghana FELTP. And then from KDCA, thank you for comprehensive explanation of the FELTP program. I am very impressed. Your well-structured program and achievement that you've made. Question 1, do you have any collaboration with Africa CDC Emergency Preparedness and Response Team in terms of outbreak response? So, want to know about if there's any collaboration with Africa CDC in the area of EPR. The second question is, did you have any experience to deploy your alumni to other countries in African region for their outbreak response? The next comment, thank you, Prof. This is from Aziz. She says, thank you, Prof. Kenu. Please, is it possible to consider FETP alumni who are not directors for the leadership training? So this in relation to leadership and management training that you mentioned. From WHO TLS, I'm curious about whether there is a formal government workforce or HR plan for these epidemiologists. I think this is talking about career pathway. Are there specific career pathways for this cadre? Then lastly, from Saeed Abdullah, thank you, Professor Kenu and the team for the amazing work you are doing for Mother Ghana. The project may train a cohort of healthcare workers, epidemiologists, and lab technicians, but they may be poached by other international organizations offering better salaries, or they may leave the public sector entirely. The question is, okay, this law weakens the local health system. Moving forward, we may consider bonding participants. Okay, the rest are mainly congratulatory comments. Thank you, Professor Kenu and Kwaika. What's the placement within Ghana Health of MH for epidemiologists? So this also ties into a career pathway. And then thank Prof, but I would like to know why intermediate level not awarded a degree so that residents after completion would be able to join allied health body. Sorry? And lastly, thank you, Professor Kenu. Thank you, Kwaika. We are grateful. I think this will be the last set of questions, and then I will hand it over to Dr. Song to do the wrap up. Over to you, Professor Kenu.
Thank you very much for questions, and I think they are very important questions. So I'll try to start with bonding. Yes, we already start bonding them. Anybody before, and they will tell you that intermediate and advanced, they all sign a bonding form before they come. That is why we only train individuals who have been given the permit to come to school. So the clearance that you get from your respective Ministry of Health, be it Food and Drug Administration or from the Ghana Health Service, or you're coming from the environment, it gives you a steady leave. And that steady leave comes with a condition that after your study, you are supposed to serve your country for a number of years before. So that is very important. So the bonding component is there. Are they being poached? The answer is yes. Well, I cannot kick against poaching, but what I can say is that we should ensure that they provide their best because it's a global village. And wherever they are going to support in making sure that our system gets better. Is there a career pathway? This is not only in Ghana that we have this challenge. It's a global challenge. But I'm glad to say that we've been able to make a lot of moves, even with the current Minister of Health. When he came on, we've been able to make an advocacy. And in no time, we'll see a clear career path. But what has been done already is that when you finish this degree, you have too-notch advantage to get to your next level. So there is already an existing path which helps, but what we have not been able to do is be able to have a clear career pathway. Very soon, the country will be opening up issues when it comes to epidemiologists at certain levels. And all these epidemiologist positions will be filled by the field epidemiologists who have been trained. So these are some of the things that we know in no time. Both the Director General and the Minister of Health have had discussions on it. The Director of Public Health, who is the chair of the steering committee, has been working on this for years. And I'm very sure that in no time, we'll see this coming to light. But then too-notch before you get to your next promotion is already being applied, unless you are not taking advantage of it. The leadership training, I agree with you. We should not only focus on district directors. We should have a pipeline. We should have a pipeline of training people who become leaders for our country, else we'll run into big trouble. The reason why I am here is because somebody took me, or a couple of people decided that we want to mentor him. Now, if I don't receive that mentorship, I don't think that I can do what I am doing. And for that reason, we believe that it should not only be people who are in current position, but all others. Now, it comes to my second question. My second question is, do we have the resources to do all for them? We don't. And therefore, we'll be working with FELAC to have some of this as a presentation or seminars. That way, we might not do the entire module, but we'll be able to do seminars that will prepare people adequately to be able to take up some of these positions and do very well in those positions. So that is the plan that we have now. But we will try, if we're able to get more resources, we will train more and make sure that they fill up this position. Do we have anything to do with Africa CDC? The answer is yes. I just came back from Africa CDC to train the AES. So we have been training the Africa CDC Epidemic Intelligence Group, and that is one of the things that we have. In fact, remember that we also receive scholarship for individuals who are coming to the 2025-2026 academic year. We're receiving support from Africa CDC. We also receive Africa CDC support to train mental health. And therefore, we have an existing and ongoing collaboration with Africa CDC. But when it comes to deployment, all the alumni are part of ACCORD. Now, one of the things that we do not want to do is that Africa CDC and affiliates work closely. So the deployment is being done through the ACCORD, and the ACCORD is part of affiliates. And that is why you notice that everywhere you see FETP, you see affiliates and you see Africa CDC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Kenu. All the comments that are coming in the chat room are just congratulatory messages and acknowledgement of this insightful presentation. I know I said it's the last question, but maybe I can throw this last one for myself to us all. I know you're very much interested in the evolving situations and emerging areas in public health. So how do you envision integrating emerging areas such as artificial intelligence, geospatial analysis, and genomic surveillance into future FELTP training? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we have already started. You know, there is a group in the past that refused to allow technology to take place, and they were called the laggards. We become like that group of people. And therefore, we have taken the initiative by training the current FETPs, and they can tell you, even though we will soon change the way that we assess them, because artificial intelligence has come to stay. We will use artificial intelligence in training them to be able to do their data analysis, to be able to do their writing of their reports, but we want them to be able to have that skills of thinking through issues, thought-provoking issues, and not only allowing the machine to do what else the machine does. So, and I'm happy to say that with the pandemic fund, the University of Ghana is already going to train a group of the surveillance officers in across the country with GIS and artificial intelligence. And those who are in the advanced program, we already do artificial intelligence for them. The intermediate will be one of the modifications that we'll be making towards the curriculum and arm that one. Now the question is, what have we already finished? It is part of the plan to have a regular seminars, to be training them using the seminars to be able to upgrade their knowledge, to be able to bridge that gap, because we cannot bring all of them to a classroom to train. But if we have these measures which we already put in place, we'll be able to train all of them and ensure that we are all at the same level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Kano. This will bring us to the end of this session. In the interest of time, there are questions in the chat room. Probably, I would urge everybody to visit the Ghana FELTP website. That there's a contact us menu where you can send your questions, and I believe that Professor Kano and the team would be more than happy to respond to your questions. But it's kudos to Professor Kano for such great presentation. Before I sign off, I would also like to acknowledge that as we are in this webinar, we have the cohort 9 and cohort 10 of the intermediate FETP currently in their workshop 4 who have joined us as a cohort, and it is very important that we acknowledge them for even making the time to break off their ongoing workshop to join this insightful webinar. They will be graduating in December, as Professor Ernest King mentioned, at the Ghana AIDS Scientific Conference, and make it a point to be there to support them. This is an achievement not only for an individual, but then for Ghana and the African continent at large and even beyond. So thank you all very much for joining, and we look forward to future webinars. I will hand over at the mention Dr. Song. Dr. Song, over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Joseph, and thank you, Professor Kano, for your presentation, and thank you, Dr. Joseph, for moderating this session. Okay, thanks to all speakers and participants for making this webinar meaningful. And I will have we want to have a group photo session because we can everybody turn on the camera so that we can capture all the participants. Hello, everyone. Hi, everyone. Yeah. Is it done? Can you can you pause with small hearts? Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Captured? Tell me if you are done.
Yeah, it's done. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Okay.